Sally Field is celebrated as one of Hollywood's enduring icons, known for her charm, versatility, and remarkable performances. Yet behind the glimmering lights and accolades lies a life shaped by profound hardship. From early childhood traumas to battles with self-doubt, her journey reflects not just stardom, but survival. Letters from her father, untouched for decades, hint at a past she often avoided confronting. At 78, her story is a testament to resilience and courage. It is a life defined by pain, recovery, and a relentless search for truth and self-expression, far beyond the applause and trophies. Childhood fractured. Too soon, Sally Field's story of adversity began long before Hollywood. Born in 1946 in Pasadena, California, her early home life was unstable. By age 4, her parents' marriage crumbled, leaving Sally suspended between two worlds. Her father, a decorated World War II veteran, was distant and strict, offering discipline but little warmth. Her mother, Margaret Field, a working actress, was glamorous but emotionally absent. Divorce in the 1950s carried social stigma, adding a layer of shame to Sally's confusion. Love for her became conditional and fleeting. The absence of a nurturing environment set the stage for challenges that would follow her into adulthood. The shadow of a stepfather. After her parents' divorce, Margaret Field remarried Jock Mahoney, a stuntman whose charm masked a darker truth. Behind closed doors, Mahoney abused Sally, leaving her with wounds invisible to the eye but devastating to the spirit. In her memoir, In Pieces, Sally revealed the psychological and physical torment she endured. The betrayal deepened when her mother failed to intervene. Sally often felt unheard and invisible in her own home. These experiences fractured her understanding of love and trust. Yet amid the trauma, a spark remained, a desire to survive. Acting would later become both escape and refuge, a means to reclaim her voice, acting as a lifeline. For Sally, performance offered sanctuary. It was not about fame, but survival. Stepping into a character allowed her to momentarily leave behind fear and pain. Drama classes provided a space where her emotions could be expressed safely, and she began discovering that art could heal. Every role she undertook carried traces of her silenced childhood, though few noticed at first. Acting was more than a skill. It was a lifeline, a bridge between trauma and expression. Her early performances were imbued with vulnerability, reflecting an inner world shaped by neglect, betrayal, and the quiet determination to endure and be seen. Hollywood's young darling, hidden pain. By 1965, at 18, Sally Field gained fame through Gidget, a sitcom about a carefree surfer girl. Fans adored her innocence and charm, but privately, she struggled under the weight of past traumas. Acting, once a refuge, became a paradox. She was visible, yet silenced, celebrated, yet misunderstood. 2 years later, The Flying Nun further cemented her public image, but each episode reinforced the very constraints she sought to escape. Forced into roles that trivialized her depth, Sally's depression worsened. Behind the smile that captivated audiences, she carried profound sadness and the ongoing task of reconciling a public persona with her private reality, the struggle for identity. By 19, Sally faced critical juncture. Her career offered visibility, but not authenticity. She felt trapped in light-hearted roles that ignored her inner truth. Public adoration could not erase private suffering, and the dissonance left her questioning herself and her future. She confided in later interviews, about the depression she endured, feeling forced into images and characters that did not align with her spirit. The sitcoms that made her famous also threatened to define her permanently. She grappled with the challenge of being perceived as one-dimensional, while carrying a lifetime of complex emotions, a struggle that would shape her choices in artistry. Walking away to find herself. At the height of her early fame, Sally made a bold decision. She stepped away from sitcoms for nearly 3 years. In Hollywood, this was nearly unheard of, and industry insiders predicted her career would end. But for Sally, it was necessary. She immersed herself in method acting at Lee Strasberg's Actors Studio, confronting buried wounds to channel them into art. This rigorous process demanded vulnerability, discipline, and immense courage. It was not glamorous or easy, but it began to transform her approach to acting. She was no longer a bubbly television image. She was a woman forging her craft through lived truth. Breakthroughs forged in pain. Sally's first major breakthrough came in 1976 with the television drama Sybil, where she portrayed a woman with dissociative identity disorder. The role demanded that she delve into psychological trauma, echoing her own experiences. Each character she embodied carried fragments of her childhood, and she brought authenticity to every scene. The performance earned her an Emmy and signaled to the industry that she was capable of profound dramatic work. For audiences, her portrayal was compelling. For Sally, it was transformative, a confrontation with her pain that became art. Her courage and honesty reshaped perceptions of her abilities and deepened her artistic legacy. Norma Ray, strength, born from struggle. In 1979, Sally's defining role arrived with Norma Ray. Playing a Southern textile worker, fighting union injustices, she infused the character with grit, vulnerability, and lived experience. Her portrayal resonated deeply because it reflected not just the fictional struggles on screen, but her own battles with betrayal, invisibility, and resilience. She did not merely act, she lived the role, conveying authenticity that audiences could feel. This performance transcended entertainment, embodying empowerment forged through hardship. Sally's ability to channel personal trauma into such compelling art affirmed that her career was not built solely on talent, but on the courage to confront and transform pain. Writing as a gift. Later in life, Sally turned to writing as a form of catharsis. In Pieces, she documented her abuse, emotional struggles, and journey towards self-acceptance. Writing allowed her to give voice to the little girl who had been silenced. It was not about publicity, but honesty, an offering to herself and to others. The memoir illuminated the invisible wounds carried by those who appear outwardly successful. Through her writing, she demonstrated that survival does not erase suffering, but it can transform it into wisdom, empathy, and art. Sally's narrative encourages reflection on resilience, showing how pain can be acknowledged, expressed, and ultimately redeemed. Resilience at 78. At 78, Sally Field stands as a symbol of courage, authenticity, and resilience. Her life demonstrates that even amidst trauma and public scrutiny, survival and growth are possible. She endured abuse, neglect, and the pressure of an unforgiving industry, yet she turned those experiences into a career defined by depth, integrity, and humanity. Her story reminds us that fame does not shield from pain, but the strength to confront it can forge extraordinary artistry. Sally's journey resonates because it is both uniquely hers and universally human, a testament to endurance, creativity, and the power of reclaiming one's voice, reflections on strength and survival. Sally Field's story is more than the tale of a celebrated actress. It is a chronicle of a child forced to navigate betrayal and silence, of a young woman grappling with identity, and of an artist transforming pain into truth. Her life teaches that resilience is not absence of suffering, but the courage to persist despite it. By sharing her experiences through acting and writing, she offers both inspiration and connection. Her legacy is not just in awards or memorable roles, but in the honesty with which she has lived, demonstrating that even profound wounds can lead to extraordinary strength.